Hello, everyone. My name is Jason, and I am an ISFP. Thank you for tuning in to my ISFP journey, my YouTube channel. I do ask that you would subscribe, follow along, watch these videos, and interact. I would really appreciate your comments. If you're an ISFP, I'd like to know if you can relate to what I'm saying in these videos or not. And if you're not an ISFP, but maybe you have a close ISFP in your life, let me know if this is helpful to you. If you have any ideas, things that you'd like to know about that I can talk about from my ISFP perspective. In this video, I want to talk about how introverted intuition presents itself in the ISFP. So ISFPs have this dual observing quality going on, where we've got extroverted sensing and introverted intuition right in the middle of our first four functions. So extroverted sensing is my parent function, and introverted intuition is my child function, or some would call it auxiliary and tertiary or third or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, introverted intuition, if you don't know what that is, go back and watch my videos on the cognitive functions. I have one specifically on the two intuitions, introverted and extroverted. The way that introverted intuition really presents itself in me is that I know what I want. Introverted intuition is very focused on the want to. It's very focused on willpower. It's very focused on the future. Intuition is always a future-focused function. Okay, so introverted intuition is really focused on my future. It's the future of the one who's using the function. So I'm the one using my introverted intuition. And so when I think about my future, I don't think very far. I can tell you that. If you watch the extroverted sensing video that I made earlier, I'm all about living in the now. So my future is not like my future 5 years from now, 2 years from now, later this year, later this month. I'm doing pretty good if my future is later today. So I know what I want, and I'm really not afraid of that, okay? And I'm not ashamed of it. I just kind of embrace it. So, and that, that ties into future, because it's like, okay, here's the thing I want to do. I'm going to go do it. Here's this place I want to be. I'm going to go be there. Whatever it is. Now, because I'm very focused on the now, like I say, that future is not very far ahead. So it's like, I know what I want now, so I'm going to go do it now. And I know how to make it happen now. So it's kind of an introverted intuition working with extroverted sensing. The extroverted sensing is keeping me in the now, focused on the here and the now and the what's going on. And the introverted intuition is kind of telling me, well, this is what you want to do now. Now, I was having a conversation earlier today with my INFP wife, who has introverted intuition in her shadow functions, all right? And she, she was just we were talking about this whole idea of want to. And then we were discussing it also as the way it presents itself in the ESFP, because we have a child that I believe is an ESFP. That's a conversation for another day. So she would have introverted intuition as her inferior function, if I'm right about her personality type. Anyway, the point that I want to get at with that is saying in these other types where introverted intuition is not where it is in the ISFP, that can show up in them as sort of not knowing what they want or being afraid to want things because they think that wanting something is selfish, all right, that it may be hurting someone else. It could show up as being like, well, I'm afraid to want that because that might disappoint those people or make their life worse, or I'm afraid to want this because it might make those people's lives worse. And I'm going to get into some anecdotal examples of those things in future videos. But for me, I really don't feel that. Okay, so when I think about the future, I'm largely thinking about my future. I know to a lot of people that's going to come off sounding very selfish, but it's very true. Not to say I don't care about the future of other people, that I don't care about the future of the group. I do, but extroverted intuition is in my shadow functions, and extroverted intuition is that function by which we really focus on the future of the group. Okay, so when I'm thinking about the future, it's my future, and I'm rarely thinking about it. But if I am thinking about the future, then I'm very sort of, okay, if I got to think about this is what I want, and I know how to get there. But more focused on the sort of the sensory here and now, I always pretty much know what I want. I know what I like, I know what I want, and I don't feel bad about it, and I don't really feel any need to explain myself. Okay, so let me give you some examples. I get home from work, okay? And I'm not a huge video game guy, but I like playing Fortnite. I get home from work, I want to play Fortnite. I'm not ashamed of that. I can walk in the door and be like, hey, say to my wife, hey, tonight I want to play Fortnite. Or I'll text my wife during the day, hockey game one time. I'm a huge hockey fan. I've got another YouTube channel that's all about hockey, okay? So I get like I'm at work and I know that my team that I love to root for, the local team, they're playing. I'll text my wife in the middle of the day, hey, they're playing tonight. I want to watch the game. Of course, right now, nobody's playing. But when hockey season is going, okay? I'm like, I want to watch the hockey game. I'm not ashamed of that. I don't feel bad about that. I am cognizant of the fact that I have a wife and 5 children and that they might want some things too. So, I mean, I'm not like, I don't think, and you can ask, talk to my wife and my kids. I don't think I'm like running roughshod over the whole family saying, get out of my way. This is what I want to do. I care about what they want. And I'm not saying that I always put my wants above everybody else's, but I'm not ashamed or afraid to say, this is what I want. Now, I would imagine that there are probably some ISFPs who maybe are afraid to say it because of negative experiences where they've put that out there and then been treated badly about it, right? I mean, like, it's a big deal for me to sit here in front of this video and put it out there to everybody that I'm perfectly cool with wanting what I want, and I don't really worry about it or feel bad about it, right? Because some people I know will be like, well, don't you care about other people? Well, yeah, I do care about other people, and I'm willing to make what I want subservient or secondary to what someone else wants in certain situations, right? So, like, I'll give you an example. It was recently my wife's birthday, and for her birthday, she wanted to go out to dinner at a restaurant that I didn't really care for. But that's where she wanted to go. It's her birthday, right? So I wasn't going to say, no, let's not go there. We went there. And by the way, I had a really good experience, and I have a whole new opinion of that restaurant now. But I didn't want it. But I wasn't going to say that because it's her birthday. I wanted her to get what she wanted more than I cared about what I wanted. Okay. So in my want hierarchy, my wife getting what she wanted, me not eating at that restaurant. Okay. So her getting what she wanted was more important to me. That's what I truly wanted, was for her to get to eat there. All right. So I am capable of checking my want to at the door. But generally speaking, I know what I want. You ask me, what do you want for dinner? I usually don't have to think very long. Or maybe I'm not sure what I want, but if you say, what about this? I can instantly go, nope, don't want that. Or, yeah, that sounds great. I don't really have to mull over things a lot. I just pretty much know what I want. I know what I want my future to look like to the degree that I'm willing to project out into the future, which is not much and not very far, but if I have to. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my tongue here. I don't script these videos. I just kind of speak off of the top of what I'm thinking. A lot of times I've been thinking about the content of the video, but I don't script it. So when you hear me tripping over my tongue, which I usually don't do too much, that's why. Anyway, so for me as an ISFP, introverted intuition shows up in these ways, okay? I know what I want. I know what I want my future to look like, though I don't tend to think about it a whole lot. But if I have to, I do. And I'm really not ashamed of it. I'm not afraid of it. I don't mind to say it. I'm happy to want what I want. And I don't need, this is the other thing that I knew there was something else I wanted to say. That I don't need some great, overarching, amazing, anthropological or charitable reason to want what I want. Now, this is where I think the INFP or the ISFP, can probably, if they're willing to be honest, and if this is true about what I'm about to say may not be true of all ISFPs, though I have a feeling it probably is. This is where I think an ISFP could probably come off sounding pretty selfish to some people. So I have an INFP son. My wife is an INFP and my oldest son is an INFP. He's 20. And he and I were talking one night, and he, basically communicated to me that he has this sort of need, and I would say this is born largely out of a combination of his extroverted intuition parent and his introverted sensing tertiary or child function. He has a real need that when he does something, it needs to be for a good reason. He needs to have good reason to do what he's going to do. He wants it to have a positive impact. He wants to help people. He wants to do something, valuable when he does something. He wants it to be worth something and for other people, to help other people, okay? Which, to hear that is like, that is so noble. That is so awesome. Obviously, nobody's going to hear that and go, shame on him. That's a wonderful trait to have. I don't have that. Do I ever want to help people? Absolutely. I want to help people all the time. I love helping people, but I don't need any great reason. I don't need any great motive. I don't need any, I don't need to be, saving the masses or helping anybody with the things that I want to do. I do what I want to do because I want to do it. Now, sometimes it is to help other people. I want to help that person over there. But ultimately, I just do what I want because I want it. It's that simple. And I have a daughter who's an ISFP, and she loves to dance, and that's just what she wants to do. And I can see it in her face because I know what it feels like as an ISFP to want to do something and not be able to do it. When she is forced to spend her day doing something and dancing is not a part of it at all, I can just see it all over. It's all over her face that she's just sitting there going, I just want to dance. I just want to be dancing right now. That's what I want to do. I want to dance. And if you were to ask her, why? If you were to ask me, why do you want to play Fortnite? Why do you want to watch the hockey game? Why do you want to go to that restaurant? Why do you want to, wear those clothes? Why do you want to do whatever did you want to do? Don't know. I just do. That's just what I want to do. I don't know why. I don't care why. I don't need a reason why. It's just what I want to do. And that is born out of my introverted intuition child function. I just know what I want, and I just want to do it. And if I have to think about the future, well, I have a general idea what I want for my future too, and probably know how to get there. Not always willing to put in the work to get there. I'll be honest about that, but I know what I want to do. I think the reason a lot of times for me, and this is probably true of other ISFPs, why we don't get the future that we want is because we're so extroverted sensing, stuck in the now moment, that we're not willing to put in the planning or the sort of the labor that needs to go into it today to get the payoff tomorrow. I'm so stuck in the now. I don't want to think about tomorrow. So how on earth can I even be wanting right now to do the things that are necessary today to get the payoff that I need for tomorrow? I'm so stuck in today, and in today, I'm so stuck in just doing whatever it is I want to do. I'm not thinking about tomorrow, much less wanting to do things that will make my tomorrow better. Now, sometimes I can rise above that. I can put on my, big boy pants and my maturity hat, and I can force myself to plan for tomorrow and then to do the things today that I don't want to do because I know that they will reap a harvest for tomorrow, right? I mean, the Bible says, be not deceived. Whatever a man sows, that also will he reap. Well, I sow a whole lot of doing whatever the heck I want in the moment, and therefore I don't reap a lot of future benefit because of it. I'm just throwing that out there. As an ISFP, I just want to say that's true about me. And if you have an ISFP in your life and that's true about them and it drives you crazy, I'm not really sure how to advise you, because when people force me to think about the future, I really get cranky. And when I'm forced to sort of do a whole bunch of things I don't want to do, I get cranky and I get in a bad mood. But I'm just letting you know so that if you have ISFPs in your life who are the same way, at least you know that they're not mental, right? Yeah, it's a problem. I'm not saying that proudly. It's a problem for me as an ISFP. And if this is true of all ISFPs, then it's a problem for all of us, right? But we've got to realize that it's a problem. Hey, you ISFPs out there, if you're watching this video, if this is a problem for you, you've got to acknowledge that. You've got to acknowledge it. I don't want to acknowledge it. I hate it. I want to make these videos, and when I'm done, maybe go play some Fortnite, right? But it is a reality for us ISFPs, I think. I know it's a reality for me. It's probably a reality for you guys too. So acknowledge it, own it, be honest about it. see if there's something you can do about it, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. And one more time, I know I said it at the beginning, but I'm going to say it again. Would you please subscribe? I would really appreciate it. And comment. I really, really want your comments so that I know, especially you ISFPs, do you relate to this or do you not? Okay? Thank you so much. Have an awesome day. Bye now.